Here we go. I'm back to my old shop for a few days. Kevin might pop in and say hi. We shall see. I've got a little bit of a challenge going on here. I got three rocks I'm going to biface. This is some kind of mystery chert or let's see, chert or jasper, right? Probably chert. This is a piece of petrified coral. I think both of these are all three are heat treated. Yeah, pretty sure. But I haven't broken into this one yet. We'll see how it works. This is West Texas chert. I don't know where I get this coral from, and I don't know where this weird chert or jasper came from. Anyway, we'll start with the big one first. Okay. Now this has already been, this was shipped to me, heat treated already, I believe, from my friend Kinley. Now, this West Texas stuff is variable. Sometimes it's really good, sometimes it's very brittle. Excuse me while I fiddle with the lighting here. So we'll see how this goes. Just bifacing for now. Yeah, it's well heat treated. Okay. And what I mean by that is it looks like the heat treat affected it a lot. It's nice and glossy. Now I was reviewing some of my other videos, and I was going to hit right there, but when I hit areas like that that are well rounded, sometimes it leaves a bulb or percussion or an incipient bulb in there and some radial cracks, I've noticed. So I'm going to delicately nap through there instead of just blasting through. Since this whole nodule was heat treated, you can do it sometimes, right? And it works very well. But I don't want to ruin the good fortune that this heat treated well with a very hard strike into an area like this that can leave incipient cracks. Just FYI. Something I noticed recently. Probably noticed it several times, but it just didn't stick. Because I have been known to just blast away. Yeah, I haven't napped in a couple days, so I already forgot. Let's see. Yeah, you can see already the danger of hitting a heat treat that's pretty substantial. Hitting it too hard can leave some pretty nasty cracks, so I can't do that too often. I'm going to lose that anyway when it reduces down to a biface, but can't be doing that too often. A lot of guys ask me if they can heat treat large nodules. I say, sure, but then I don't tell them to be careful when they spall it, because it'll get cracked. So I'm going to peel off flakes in a very careful way. So this is kind of a rock challenge, even though all these pieces are going to be relatively easy to nap. Because it's not really tough stone. I can use some of these flakes for arrowheads. This might make some interesting additions to a box of flakes. I don't know. We shall see. Shall see if I offer any box of flakes this time. if I start doing that, I'd run out of flakes for myself. I drove into town last night, so I'm a little bit sleepy. This is a late night, well, sort of a late night napping session. Kind of, not too bad. So I'm erring on the side of caution. You'll see me miss a lot. I don't care if I miss a lot, but some guys watching this don't like it. I don't know why. It's not like it doesn't look like I know what I'm doing. Were there too many negatives in that one? Where is my file? There it is. I need to make this smoother. Yeah, see, there's already some stone embedded in that. Yeah, I shouldn't be using the file for that stuff. Although that might have been from earlier. I was spalling some heat treat. There's some down there. Well, maybe not spalling, but bifacing just to see if the heat treat was any good. I got a pile of heat treated material there that I'll be using in the coming weeks. All right, let's see. I'm swiping these hits, so I'm peeling off relatively thin flakes. Right, I'm just skimming them off. That helps preserve the edge. It helps preserve the material, so you don't sand in a lot of cracks. See, there's no smashing going on there, right? That other spot, compare it to this spot. See, there's a big difference there. So that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Two different areas. Very different results. Okay. I was supposed to hit that, but I went over there a little bit, but still knocked off a pretty nice flake. I'm just going to be careful I don't scoop out too much. Too much of a scoop out reduces it too much, and you get into trouble. Because if it scoops out too much, you got to thin it down a lot just to get it level. And sometimes in the process of thinning, you realize that you're either going to have to live with a wonky piece that's kind of wavy, or knock it down and make it even smaller so you can straighten it out, which is okay if you want a small piece. But during my adventure, I'm finding out everyone likes big pieces. Why is that? Everyone likes the large pieces. Well, I can't say everybody, of course. But the large pieces are very popular. So I'll try to conserve as much of this as possible, as always. Well, let's see. What did I do here? What I was trying to do is get rid of this step fracture here, and I went over here and scooped out too much on this side. Now there's a big mass here. Which way do I want to go with it? Do I want to keep this as the flat side or keep this as the flat side? Because it depends on where I go, if that's the case. I could just do it opportunistically and then see what I got afterwards. Yeah, I can still go with either side. That was a nice flake. This feels like high-grade porcelain when it's heat treated well like this. I need to get myself some porcelain, some high-grade porcelain, and nap it and compare it. I think I've said it before in a video that I think knapping is going toward knapping porcelain as an alternative to stone eventually, because I think that the price of stone is going to go way too high very soon. Not only transportation and gas costs, but also the guarding of the supply and intentionally keeping back the supply so that more can be charged for it. You know, you don't want to sell it all off all at once. You want to be able to have income for a while, so you don't sell it all, you hold back, right? Drive the price up a little bit that way. I don't know, just guessing. And the porcelain guys will say, you know what, the price of stone is getting to the point where the porcelain is cheaper. Even the high grade stuff that requires kilns and energy costs to bake it, special pigmentation ingredients and stuff, all that stuff's kind of expensive, but not as expensive as rock these days. That's what they're going to be saying. Probably. Who knows? They might find a big old gigantic rock deposit somewhere in a country that can export it cheaply. And then everyone can get cheap flint. It's got to be high grade though. Oh yes. It could happen. Alright, so how thin do I want to go with this? I don't want to go too thin, like I did like I explained in my, how thin do I go, or can I go? How thin can I possibly go with just direct percussion? And the question was asked on Facebook as well. And there's some guys that are showing their direct percussion bifaces and points that are really thin, you know. I think I saw one that was, just by looking at it, I kind of did a comparison. It looked like 8-to-1. 8-to-1 with only direct percussion. That's pretty darn good. I mean, that's better than many, many years of doing it with indirect percussion. I think my best is like 9-to-1 before I start sweating too much. I think I've done 9-to-1 as the best so far with indirect percussion on a point. I've gone thinner than that on certain areas of a point. But you know, 8-to-1 is like 1/8 of an inch compared to 1 inch wide. 1/8 of an inch thick. That's about as far as I go with indirect percussion. With direct percussion, I couldn't even see that. That's some patience there. Yeah, and I'll measure this as best I can because I don't have my calipers again. I don't know what I did with those. Weather was nice today, but it's going to heat up to about 97 tomorrow. That's what I hear. That's what I see on the forecast. Wonderful. Fantastic. Just what I wanted. I'll be back in Vermont soon. Get some relief. My van is not liking these trips. It's in the shop every month, it seems. Just took it in today. Something up with the coils. Had to have the coils replaced. Funny how those things wear out, huh? If you drive yourself everywhere cross country. Funny how that works. Golly, I'm getting nervous now. All right. I got myself some prescription glasses with bifocals. Got the real deal the other day when I was at my sister's house. Took some time, went down to the optometrist. And they work, right? But the depth perception is even worse than with the magnifying reader glasses. So holy moly, I can see better and I can keep my work away from me more, right? It's a more ergonomic distance because with these magnifying readers, I got to keep the workpiece fairly close or it's out of focus. And I had to scrunch over, so it's not very good on my posture. But anyway, my prescription glasses are pretty good, but my depth perception is all wonky with those, and I don't know how to fix that. I did say bifocals, right? Maybe I should just get a pair of glasses that are not bifocals. Just solid close-up ones. I think that's the next pair I'm going to try to get. Alright, so I'm gently swiping this. See if I can do it. I'll try to get reasonable thinness. I don't want a really dimpled area because it grabs the workpiece too much. There we go. I think I'm reaching the limit of what I want to do. Part of managing risk is knowing when to stop. Knowing when to say, well, let's put the brakes on a little bit. I'll be doing several videos this week. If you don't see Kevin in this one, he's probably going to show up in another one. He came in earlier. I guess his curiosity was satisfied. Another thing about thinning it out, I can probably get it pretty thin, but with step fractures. You know, thinner than I normally would, but it would have step fractures. It's got to be thin with no step fractures to count. All right. Okay, so that's as thin as I want to go with direct percussion there. Let me see if I can measure this. It is 2 and let's do it millimeter. Let's do it millimeter. 60. Okay, let's get somewhere where I can see the beginning millimeter mark. I can't really do it with that thing. All right, you guys looking? Well, I can't do it through the viewfinder. All right, that's 10 centimeters, 10 millimeters, 10 millimeters by 60. That's 6 to 1. 6 to 1, and I'm ready to quit because I don't want to risk it. Now this is excellent material. It reminds me of high-grade porcelain. I've napped high-grade porcelain before. It was a casserole dish, an old one, and nowadays you get this Pyrex type stuff that's tempered. It doesn't nap as well as some of the older. I don't know why. Some of the older dishes. Well, I think I know why, but I don't know why they changed them. I guess they didn't know they were going to be napped, huh? All right, let's try the coral. This one's going to make me nervous too. Heat treated. Oh yes. I knocked a piece off earlier right there. I went psh, right here. Knocked a piece off. It was all broken up. I overshot it a little bit. I said, this is a rock challenge for sure. It's a rock challenge for sure. Because you never know what you're going to get with this one. With this type of stuff. It has nice translucency if you get it finished out. We'll see. I'm not going to hit it with the billet anymore. This is just too shattery, it feels like. See how shattery that is right there? The whole thing's going to probably be that way. Oops. Use the rounded end. Again, to remove nice flakes, it's got to be clean metal or a clean antler or clean bone, whatever you're using. Clean hammerstone. Can't be like all extremely pitted hammerstone stuff. It's got to be, very reasonably textured if you're using a hammerstone. Yeah, we shall see. A lot of weird stuff going on. This looks almost clear in some spots, but I'm going to lose some of that stuff. How do I know? Because it doesn't conform to the shape, the triangular shape. I'm already looking ahead to see where a triangle is inside this thing. Okay, I gotta do the base. No yip yap this video. I gotta be in the right frame of mind to do the yip yap stuff. Sometimes it keeps me awake at night thinking, some of you guys have recommended some interesting books. I've already read some of them that were recommended to me. I should say listened to. I very rarely read. When I read, I tell people it's like walking upstairs. It just gets harder and harder and harder. As the longer I read, the harder it gets. Some people can seem to get into a meditative state when they're reading. I wish I could, but all I get is climbing stairs, and then who knows? Maybe I'm reading it or doing it wrong. I do have to kind of pronounce to myself every word. I have to have some sort of interior sound in my mind when I'm reading. I have to kind of hear the words, so I don't read them aloud to myself, but I can kind of hear the words as I'm reading. I think some people don't need to hear the words in order to understand them. I think maybe I can read that way. but I don't know. I don't think so. Even when I read a math book, I have to say the numbers out loud in my mind. Has to be some sort of auditory accompaniment. All right. Yeah, so I'm just peeling off flakes little by little. Trying to get through the nasty spots without too much stress on the piece, because there's incipient cracks, both natural and the ones I make, and a lot of them can open up or expand or continue or whatever the terminology is and just cut the whole piece. See that interior, or that, let's see. These are natural fissures or seams on the surface of the stone. They don't go all the way through, but you got to watch those. Watch that you skin them off carefully. Like on the video where I was attacking cracked stone or whatever it's called. I don't even remember the names of my own videos. Attacking the crack. Something like that. You have to attack it carefully. Can't just blast your way through. Like some stones will allow you to just blast your way through, and you're safe for the most part. Not this kind of stuff, especially not heat treated. It adds another dimension, another layer of brittleness to it. The first layer is the natural cracks, then the second layer is the delicacy of the heat treat. It becomes more brittle, but it's easier to knap in general. It's especially good if you have natural material, when you have a heat treat. I don't really need to use heat treat all that much when I'm knapping with steel or copper, right? Or with metals. I don't need to really worry too much with the heat treating aspect, because metal just powers right through everything. But if I'm knapping with natural materials, and these days when I knap with natural materials, I'm not knapping in a stressful way. I'm doing it because I'm going to enjoy it. I went through way too many years of struggle with natural materials, so I'm not going to do it that way anymore. If I knap with natural materials, it's going to be set up just right with good material for the tools, and I'm not going to do anything too complicated. I like to do little bird points with natural materials, no big blades. I like doing notches with antler, but nothing really stressful. No deep ones. No deep, narrow notches with antler, if I can help it. Unless someone insists on, can you please show me how to do it? Okay. Yeah, this is getting to the point where it's risky. That might break there. Let's see, should I continue? I guess I'll do this in two parts. I'm running out of time on this segment. Yeah, I'll just keep going. I'll make it 2 segments, and I'll just introduce another piece if I need to round out the next 30 minutes. As you can see, this one might actually break on me. We shall see. I'll continue on the next segment.